Okay, so we've all heard the stories. We have to be really, really careful vaccinating our kids. There's a very big connection that we've all heard between autism and vaccinations. Vaccinate your kids carefully, watch it, monitor it. You don't want your kid getting autism because they're just throwing so many vaccines the kids can't handle it in their body. But in reality, did you know that Dr. Andrew Wakefield, who actually developed that study in a medical journal, was stripped of his medical license in May of 2010 because he falsified all those records? He made millions, scaring everybody and probably killing a lot of children who didn't get their immunizations because their parents were afraid. So I actually was really, really shocked when I read this study because I was convinced. I had no idea just 3 years ago that the doctor who came up with all this information that made us all watch our kids' vaccinations closer actually lied about everything. And I can't even imagine a doctor who would do that. I'm so glad he's gone, even though he ran off with bags of money. But I want to make sure that I inform you of what I found out because there's a lot of information that we don't really know or we don't really understand. Number one is there's a difference between what's true and what's not, what we think we know and what we don't really know. So the myths and truths is the number one thing I'm going to talk about. Number two is going to be how you can recognize autism, like really recognize it, and how autism can be treated. So let's start with myths and truths. Okay, so here's some examples of information I found on the internet. We're going to talk about these and you can decide whether you believe that they're a myth or they're real, true facts about autism. Now, autism is found in boys just as much as it is in girls. Diseases can't discriminate. It's a disease. How is it going to know the difference between a boy or girl, the difference between a man and woman, child, adult? It doesn't know. Autism can be recognized in facial features. If you've ever seen a kid with kind of droopy eyes, you probably saw a kid with autism, and you knew it. You saw them have a little tantrum and figured that out. And also, all the people with autism are geniuses. I mean, we all know this. We all saw the movie Rain Man. Dustin Hoffman was awesome in that, the way he counted all those thousands of pins in 2 seconds. Autism is also known to be misdiagnosed with ADHD. A lot of times kids are not getting the right treatments because the doctors aren't looking at the correct signs. They're just saying, okay, so the kid can't calm down. He obviously has attention deficit hyperactive disorder. He's hyper and he can't calm down. Autism is actually relatively new. Our parents didn't know about autism. None of our friends had autism. Actually, every one of these, everything I've just told you, is a myth. Not one thing I just said is true. And every day, people are convinced that the information I just provided to you is actually real. And the truth is, boys are 4 to 5 times more likely to get autism than little girls. So if you have a baby and it's a boy, watch him carefully because he has a greater chance. Also, people with autism look just like everyone else. You could be sitting right next to someone who has autism right now and not even know it. Leo Kanner actually first described autism as a distinct mental condition in 1943. My mom wasn't even born in 1943. How come we never heard about this? None of our friends had it. No one ever heard about this. It's crazy that it's been around that long and no one knew. As far as the genius, Dustin Hoffman is great. I love that movie, but actually only about 1 or 2 in every 200 people who have autism has any extra abilities. They're no different, really, than the rest of us. Now, some truths actually also are that autism is the fastest growing serious developmental disorder in the United States, according to autismspeaks.org. And according to the CDC, in 2008, about 1 in every 88 children in the United States has ADHD. Now, if you think this is just something that happens in the U.S. because we're all about ourselves and you're kind of closed off here, it's not actually true. 1 in every 100 people in the UK has autism as well. This is a global problem that we really need to focus on. About 71% of kids with autism actually have another accompanying mental health disorder. So the ADHD diagnosis isn't necessarily a wrong one, it's one of two. Autism is also known as Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD for short. The reason it's a spectrum disorder is because there is a vast range. You go from kids who have just actually a little bit, they're just a little bit autistic, and you wouldn't recognize it at all, to the kids who can't talk to you, can't touch you. You get close to them and they scream. There is a big difference. So this information might be kind of scary. Everything that you've heard and known about autism, you probably didn't realize a lot of it was wrong. There may be a lot of information that you actually don't know at all, things that you've never heard of. So that's what I want to start focusing on here, is how to recognize autism. First of all, autism is a neurodevelopment disorder. It's a brain and central nervous system problem. It's actually a form of brain damage, according to Autism Speaks. So ways to recognize this, you want to start out with babies. At 6 months, your child should be able to smile and giggle with you. At 9 months, they should be able to stick their tongue out at you when you stick your tongue out at them. Everybody likes to do that. At 12 months old, they should be able to point to their favorite toy or their favorite cookie. If they can't say it, they can tell you what they want by pointing at it. And they should be able to wave bye-bye. Everybody does that, 12-month-old baby. Bye-bye, bye-bye, baby. At 16 months old, if they don't speak, you really want to start to be concerned. By 2 years old, everything's about me. Everybody knows the terrible twos, my book, my cookie, my mommy. If they can't put a 2-word phrase like that together, take them to the doctor right away. Now, don't panic, because actually the sooner you can recognize these signs, the sooner you can get your child into treatment, and they can get those behaviors under order, or actually get them to have better behavior. And it's not something that can go away. It's not something that's going to get worse either. The problem with ADHD is people think you get worse as you get older or you get better. Neither actually happens. You learn to cope or you don't learn to cope. That's the only thing. The key treatment is, of course, early detection, and according to WebMD, children with autism respond best to highly structured and specialized treatment. This can be really tedious. Every day you get up at the same time, you have the same food, you go poo at the same time. If you distract from that at all, they can't handle it. They don't understand. We don't like change. They can't handle change. So according to the American Academy of Pediatrics, there are 4 recommended treatments. There's behavioral and training management. This is used for positive reinforcement, self-help, and social skills training. That helps improve their ability to behave and communicate with other people. Specialized therapies include speech, occupational, and physical therapy. This is to manage their autism conditions. And medicine. Actually, the medicine doesn't do anything for the autism. It helps them control the anxiety that comes from having autism. The most important thing is actually community support and parent training. This is really, really important, because with these kinds of problems with kids with autism, they can't calm down. And if you have a kid who can't calm down, you're going to start to stress. So you need all the support and patience you can get. In conclusion, people with autism have been around a lot longer than most people realize, affecting more boys than girls, and autism has never been caused by vaccines. If you notice developmental problems, get checked right away and make sure to talk to your doctor. Developmental delays are not a cause for panic. There are late bloomers. Everyone's seeing the kid who's a little bit slow. And treatment is available, and more is being learned every day about combating this disability. Remember, being patient and supportive is essential to those who have autism and their family members. So be patient, be kind.